So hi guys, it's Cosmic. Welcome back to another video. So today we'll be talking about how strong is second body UI Daniel exactly. In this analysis, we'll be examining UI Daniel's past fights and adjusting his battle capacity accordingly. Before we begin, I just want to clarify that this is just my opinion on how strong I perceive UI Daniel to be. Everyone has their own opinion, so feel free to share yours in the comments. Now let's begin. First appearance of UI Daniel. We were first introduced to UI Daniel mode during Daniel's fight against Zack Lee. However, Jerry Quan intervened, and when Daniel tried to protect Zack from Jerry's attack, he was instantly knocked out. That's when the God of Death took over his body. I mean UI mode activated. Jerry Quan, who was at a crew head level, was absolutely demolished by UI Daniel. This mode allows him to use all the past attacks imprinted on his body. We saw an example of this during the first affiliate arc, where UI Daniel used Captain Kim's or Jinrang's conviction punch against OG UI Daniel, slamming him into the wall. Personally, I think this body is from the future, and at that time Daniel had mastered every martial art known to mankind. But let's get back to the topic. Although UI Daniel overwhelmed Jerry Quan, he eventually regained consciousness and the fight stopped there. Second appearance, UI Daniel versus Gun. The second time we saw UI Daniel was during his fight with Gun. Daniel had gone to investigate James Lee, aka the false identity of his second body, which Charles Choi had covered up. While searching, he found Gun, who possessed a missing image related to the mystery. Then we finally got Gun versus UI Daniel, and oh boy was Gun impressed. He himself admitted that he felt true fear and enjoyed the fight more than any moment in his life. Of course, we know what kind of pervert he is when it comes to fighting. The exact results of the fight weren't shown, but from the panels we can see that UI Daniel was in a dominating position. At the very least, this proves that in a straightforward fight, UI Daniel is stronger than base UI Gun, since Gun didn't seem to know his weakness. Third appearance, third affiliate arc. In this arc, Daniel farmed the most amount of aura we have seen until the Hunt of Gun arc. He fought Jake, John, Jerry, Samuel, and the almighty lineman, and of course Go also. Jake was on his way to mastery but hadn't surpassed it yet. Samuel was at about the same level as Jack. John was a level above Jack and Samuel. Jerry was also stronger than Jack. Lineman, well, he is just him. UI Daniel obliterated every single one of them. They all felt true fear of death, realizing they could die at any moment. Jack, Samuel, and Jerry got completely beaten down. John put up a fight but was still obliterated at the end. Gu entered the battle. Gu was wielding a weapon almost identical to a sword, yet UI Daniel still managed to break Gu's arm before suddenly losing consciousness again. Gu himself questioned why Daniel randomly passed out and admitted that he almost died while fighting UI Daniel. This at the very least proves that UI Daniel is stronger than a single sword Gu at this time. Fourth appearance, first affiliate arc. During this arc, Daniel's second body was being held by the workers, and Jinin Park stated that this body was at the absolute epitome of human perfection, meaning it had the perfect amount of strength, speed, durability, senses, instincts, mobility, etc. etc. UI Daniel fought against Little Daniel, who had previously fought against Ji-Chang, and Little Daniel got absolutely folded. Then we learned that UI Daniel adjusts his battle strength to match his opponents. This means we haven't seen the full extent of his power, because no one has been able to push him to his absolute limit. OG Daniel attempted to surprise attack, but UI Daniel pummeled him into the ground, I mean wall. After that, Vasco, Jerry, and Warren stepped up. Despite being completely exhausted, my boy Jerry had to experience him 3 times, man. Also, I like the panel of Jerry and Warren in which Jerry says, "We are up against a real monster, try not to die." Such a bro moment. We got UI versus UI. The fight was evenly matched for a while. Like they said, it was a fight between two machines, but UI Daniel was winning for the most part. Eventually, Little Daniel managed to land a solid hit. Next, Warren, Vasco, and Jerry fought UI Daniel together. At that point, they were all burnt out, and UI Daniel was notifying them like handing out candies to kids. Then came Jin Park versus UI Daniel. Jin Park was chief of staff in Captain Kim's Fist Gang, the third in command. In the panels, we have seen Elite and Jin being equals or rivals, which means he should be extremely strong. His copy ability allowed him to mimic Captain Kim's attacks, but even then, UI Daniel copied Jin, copying Captain Kim, and he started to overwhelm him. Realizing that he would die if the fight continued, he injected Daniel with the antidote and making Daniel regain consciousness or lose consciousness. Jin had said that UI Daniel is on the same level as the one they fought in the pre-generation. I think he was referring to the Yamazakis, or I don't know. The next time we saw UI Daniel was against True UI Gun. Now I know Gun was exhausted, but remember, in True UI mode he doesn't feel pain and can surpass his strength, so fatigue shouldn't have mattered much. We saw UI versus UI again. It was a true menace fight. Both of them were going blow for blow. UI Daniel was doing his fancy moves and Gun just being Gun, using absolute power like a beast. But eventually UI Daniel knocked Gun out of his UI mode, which should mean that UI Daniel is a little stronger than True UI Gun, or at the very least on the same level, since we haven't truly seen UI Daniel's absolute limits. He was likely just adjusting to true UI Gun's strength. However, Gun later used his knowledge and experience to defeat Daniel, which is a cheat, but still Gun is Gun, and he was clapping everyone at the time, so it's understandable. Conclusion: if we consider UI Daniel at his absolute limits, then he should be on the same level as Gabriel and Shingen, but as for current, I would say he is equal to Gun and Gu. It all comes down to circumstances, strategy, and let's be honest, PTJ's bias. Gun, Gu, and UI Daniel are all just equals. It's just PTJ's bias and the circumstances at the moment of the fights. Well, that was my analysis and opinion on UI Daniel. Let me know yours in the comments below. Also, be sure to subscribe. I depend on internet numbers for validations and food.